had to stop Paladin promotions due to, again, just having to concentrate on the job, basically. The marketing, I mean, I'm not really sure they would be too happy if I was, you know, working for one venue and then bringing stuff to others. So it's I guess you could see it as a bit of a conflict, sort of elements of a conflict of interest. But also in the sense that they kind of just want me concentrating on what I need to do, and there's quite a lot to it. So I don't blame them if I'm quite honest. So yeah, that's basically that. Yes, bud.
So are there any notable names you remember promoting or being involved with during your time as a promoting U2 Academy?
Okay, so my promoting was external to O2 Academy, so it was my like independent thing that got noticed by them. But the one of my standout ones was definitely the TTNG show that I did there in Academy 2. That was a lot of fun. And then the last one I'm doing, well, the final one ever actually, is Maps Nazis this Sunday in Academy 2 as well. Yeah.
How come it's your last one?
Yeah, that's correct.
How come it's your last one?
Well, it was similar to basically what I said to over there about I've sort of kind of been asked not to promote anymore, and that's fine. So I'm the marketing executive basically, so I look after the marketing of the venue, so I push external promoters events, internal promoters events, but not my own. Now. Yeah, is that okay? Am I not being clear?
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah? Cool. Yes, bud?
How tough was it when you started out in the promoting side?
I would say it does take a while to find your feet. There is some trial and error involved, definitely. I mean, I'd say that I would self-admit there was a few times that I just did not gauge the size of the venue that I was booking for the actual size of the act. Sometimes you're like, I love this band, they're my favourite, I'll book them a 150 cap room when actually you probably should have been booking the library at 50, 60 cap, if I'm quite honest. Because the problem is you can kind of get clouded in the fact that if you think they're brilliant, it doesn't necessarily think that other people are brilliant. Other people find them brilliant as well. I also found that I didn't factor in a few times, this is really important actually, I also sometimes, in my very early days, didn't factor in other events happening at the same time. So for example, you wouldn't book a local gig at the time of like Truck Festival or Common People when it was on basically and stuff, or you know, different events you really have, or like certain promoters have to worry about when the students are in, when the students are not in, especially with a student-orientated city like Oxford basically, yeah.
So you're saying that you can't have like a personal favoritism, but you have to listen to it?
So yeah, and then sometimes the data that you can see online available to you can actually be really handy, and sometimes it just doesn't help in any shape or form. Sometimes you kind of look at a Facebook page of an act and you think like, oh wow, they've got a load of likes, they'll bring a bunch of people. Sometimes it doesn't work like that at all, but sometimes it does. You just really have to gauge it. And I'm not going to lie to you, there's a lot of risk involved, to be honest, because you're putting the groundwork in for people to come to your event, but it's you relying on the people to even show up is actually the thing. So that you know, you're never like 100% in control. But what you need to do, you need to really ground yourself, and you really need to find out and really gauge, do your research, look at their Spotify streams, maybe ask them, you know, have you played Oxford before? Do you remember how well it went? Or if you knew somebody who went to one of their events, like you could just say, yeah, like was it busy? Was it not? Like I've done that a few times, and it's literally swayed some of my decisions basically. Yeah. But I'd say data's a weird one, because sometimes, you know, a band can have very little Spotify streams and they can sell out 1,000 cap rooms, sometimes they have massive ones, and you know, sometimes it doesn't convert into ticket sales. You just have to be smart with it basically, and you know, have an element of trusting your gut while at the same time relying on the information that's available to you. Yeah, sweet. Yeah.
What are your like hours?
My hours?
Yeah. So is it like 9 to 5? Or?
So I work they want me 10 till 6, and I normally find myself working excess, to be honest. because there's a lot to it. I mean, a thing that I think is getting some limelight now, that maybe wasn't so prominent on social media, etc. But just how stressful the music industry can be, to be honest. I mean, sometimes you could come into a day at work, and if you're duty managing a show, I mean, you could be duty managing 2 shows, and that's like 1,300 people that you're essentially having to, cater for. When you go to an event, you're there at the event, but and you see the event, you go home after the event. But what's actually going on in the background, what's actually been going on prior to making that event happen, and what's going on in the backgrounds behind the scenes, is massive. It's massive. And the stress that can be put onto some people to make sure that those events are running smoothly and efficiently and effectively, can be quite big. So one thing I'd say is if you are a person to get stressed, maybe just help yourself out. Maybe start now in some self-help stuff, because it can be a real challenge sometimes. But the thing is, that's sort of it's quite healthy as well. A bit of healthy pressure can really help you to succeed, if I'm honest, and get the job done. So I'd just say, last thing about that is just burying your head in the sand, and you just can't do it. You can't do it at all. But yeah, cool. Oh, sorry.
From your point of view, what would you say is the most prominent scene in Oxford?
The prominent what, sorry?
What's the most popular scene in Oxford?
Scene?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'd say, from what I've observed, there's a really, really strong indie market, if I'm quite honest. I know you can work out why that is for such as Simon Bailey of Future Perfect has now become a crosstown concerts promoter, basically. His taste and his sort of ethos and stuff, his Radio 6 market that he sort of goes with, it's really strong and it's really prominent. So that's something that I've observed. I'd say the club nights, student nights, etc., for clubbing, essentially, with fishies that we have every Wednesday that sells out with no issue, etc., is really strong. Also, I'd say, with venues like the Wheat Sheaf, putting on so many rock and metal acts, etc., is pretty strong too. And then there's things so they're ones that I see that are very prominent. And then there was things we saw that hardcore wasn't so prominent, so we tried to bring it in, it didn't work, but who knows, if we would have stuck at it might have, etc. And you just have to sort of really observe what's available, and if you're wanting to go in and become a new promoter, I mean, it might be worth just trying to see what different thing you can bring to the table, because either it doesn't exist yet because it just simply doesn't, or it doesn't exist yet for a reason, because it's just not popular. But if you just observe things that have happened or haven't happened, you could potentially find your gap, basically. Is there, with your question about what do you think is prominent, are you wanting to bring something to the scene or something, or are you in a band and you want to know how you fit in or something?
Yeah, I'm in a metal band, and I want to know how. I'm trying to get into the scene, but with such a prominent new scene, I think I'll find it easy.
Okay. So, are you gig ready?
Don't think so.
Okay, because some contacts for promoting who could put a show on for you basically would be Two-Face Promotions, Ox Rocks. I'm trying to think of some others. I would have given you my Paladin email as well, but of course, as you know, I'm not promoting anymore. Trying to think of some others. Even Mark Osprey does his Church of the Heavy nights as well. Yeah, he's very good for a band starting out, essentially. Cool. Yeah.
How far in advance would you start advertising a gig?
So I would say at least 2 months is probably anything sort of less than that can be hard. It can be difficult, but it kind of depends on, again, the size of the act. if they have clout or not. The thing is, again, it kind of varies because of act sizes and stuff like that. But I mean, would that be to like what's the basis of your question? Are you looking to like put on a show or?
No, we're just doing a gig soon. So.
Doing a gig soon. Is there how much lead-in time do you have?
Well, we only have 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
But we have started already. But
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm not saying cancel it or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying at all. It's just like.
It's at the O2.
Sorry.
It's at the O2.
I was at the O2. Oh, is this the student night? Of course. Who's Redshift, by the way? Woo! Yeah. Are you into Shikari fans? Or was that just a coincidence? That's crazy. Because they have a song called Redshift. I thought like. No. Okay. Yeah, no problem. Okay. No, you've had the O2 event actually on for. You've had quite a long lead-in time for that. Actually, probably longer than we had when we did ours. So, yeah. Have you guys like got any like posters or flyers, physical posters or flyers for that show or anything like that? Oh, do you have a marketing team for that event?
No, it's not very good.
Oh, sorry. Okay, yeah. Yes, please. Sorry.
How do you advertise an event?
Advertise the event. Which events are we talking? The O2 with the O2? Yeah. So there's a lot to it. It sort of varies from show to show. So we find that physical print is definitely not dead. Like even with the social media sort of boom, we still go for the we'll get 50 to 100 A3s printed and we'll have them around the venue, distributed around the city and sort of surrounding towns, etc. We also, we'll have A6 flyers present and we'll have them distributed around. We also have street teamers who, will fly gigs, etc. like that. So that's basically that on the physical print side. And then of course, basically the main social media platforms of Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And with that, we do organic posting and a lot of basically paid posting. So I don't know if anybody has any experience here with like boosted posts on Facebook and Instagram, etc. Basically, I craft a lot of those, and with that, there's quite a lot to it in the sense of crafting targeting lists and getting the most, basically making the adverts that you create, money efficient, essentially. You want to get the most out of the advert for the money that you're actually putting in. So I find, and the thing is, you find that the way that Facebook actually cripples organic posts is quite astounding, actually. So I find that sometimes just putting some, if you really want to make a statement and get something out there and hopefully get some return on it, you want to go with outlets such as Facebook and Instagram, putting some money behind it can be really helpful, and it should help you get a return. Oh, sorry. So an organic post is literally when you so I'll go on the O2 Academy Oxford Facebook page. I just post a show poster with the ticket link and a bit of what the show's about, and just leave it at that, and just leave it to be seen. That's an organic post. A boosted post, on the other hand, is when I would do that and I would actually go in, press boost post, and then I'd basically create a targeting list and some demographics of who I want the advert to target, and you put money behind it. You choose how long you want it available, etc. And that's that. And Facebook, I don't know if you guys know this, but Facebook now into Instagram as well. So you can also create basically boosted Facebook posts that also run to Instagram as well, and it sort of just speeds up the whole process, and it's quite handy. But basically, I find that if you really want to create the most detailed targeting list that you can possibly find, is really put your research into the act find all the similar acts that are similar to that act, and basically add them all into the targeting, and it can, you know, it means that you're reaching the right people. I mean, I could probably talk in detail about that for ages, but that is a very effective, going back to your question, that's a very effective way to reach, you know, a vast amount of people and directly give them a ticket link. I mean, also, a thing that I've noticed as well with social media marketing is that you basically, if you're promoting a show, you kind of want to, what would be the word? Sorry, I'm going to use like lessen the amount of landing pages that a person reaches to actually go and press buy ticket, basically. You don't want them having to go through loads and loads of different things just to get to the part where they press buy ticket. So a really handy tool for that would be a website that we use called Bitly. Does anybody use Bitly at all? What's Bitly? No, that's fine. So Bitly is basically, you take your social media link and you can you shorten it down, basically, so that the person clicks on it and say. Also, if you're tweeting, right, you only have a certain amount of characters. So if you put it into Bitly, you can take away all those excess characters in the link and just put it down to a few words so somebody knows what they're clicking on, basically. And that's really handy. Yeah, so social media, physical stuff. Yeah, that's essentially our two main avenues of how we promote our shows, essentially. And oh yeah, we also use a thing called a Solus email. Does anybody know what that is at all? That's fine. So a Solus email is basically when you buy tickets through our primary ticket outlet is Ticketmaster. When you have an opt-in thing, you know, when they have those little checkboxes that say, do you want to have emails from us in the future, blah blah blah, and you're like, hell no. But those people who accidentally have clicked it, just haven't read it, oh sorry guys, yeah.